Welcome to the Weekly Focus English.
Week 3, Flying Green, the Rise of Sustainable Aviation in 2026. In 2026, the travel industry is transforming as airlines adopt eco-friendly jet fuels made from renewable waste. Major airports are investing in electric infrastructure and hydrogen technology to cut carbon emissions. By choosing green flights, global passengers can explore the world while protecting nature and promoting ecotourism.
Jumping into today's deep dive, we're looking at this new 2026 report called Flying Green, the Rise of Sustainable Aviation. And, well, reading through it really struck me how the old travel trade-off is, finally dying.
Yeah, that massive carbon guilt we all get from flying long haul.
Right. We used to just accept that, seeing the world meant putting this huge dent in the planet.
But this year, we're moving way past just buying carbon offsets to feel better. We're looking at a fundamental chemical rewrite of the whole aviation playbook, starting right in the fuel tanks.
Exactly. The report shows airlines are actively adopting jet fuels made entirely from renewable waste. And to be clear to you listening, this isn't about, tossing banana peels into a jet engine.
No, definitely not.
It's more like taking the old cooking oil from a fast food fryer, stripping it down to its basic chemical building blocks, and then snapping them back together. It's like strapping a rocket powered by yesterday's trash to a 500-ton metal bird.
Right. The technical side of that is taking the lipids from waste oils and agricultural byproducts and refining them so they perfectly mimic the hydrocarbon chains of traditional kerosene.
They call it a drop-in fuel in the industry, right?
Exactly, drop-in, which is genius because by the time it actually reaches the aircraft, the engine literally cannot tell the difference.
Wait, really? So if we're flying on upcycled trash, how does that not completely, gunk up a sensitive commercial jet engine mid-flight?
Because it is chemically indistinguishable from fossil fuel. It doesn't gunk up anything. And that's why it's such an immediate strategy to cut emissions right now. Airlines don't have to wait decades to redesign and replace every single turbine in the sky.
They just change where the chemistry comes from.
Right.
Okay, so the fuel is basically a plug-and-play solution. The planes themselves don't have to radically change today. But the report also details these massive investments happening on the ground, right? Like electric infrastructure and new hydrogen tech.
Oh, huge changes on the ground. Changing how planes fly is only half the battle.
Because our current city power grids can barely handle, a spike in summer air conditioning use. So how does a standard airport suddenly become this cutting-edge green power plant?
Well, they essentially have to decouple from the standard grid. Major airports are transitioning into these independent, localized energy hubs.
Oh, wow. So just totally off the grid.
Yeah, pretty much. And hydrogen is crucial here because of its, incredible energy density. You can't just rely on massive lithium batteries for heavy-duty operations like baggage tugs or taxiing aircraft.
Right, because, those take way too long to charge.
Exactly. So instead, they generate and store hydrogen right on site. It powers fuel cells that refuel in literally minutes.
So if airports are spending billions on on-site hydrogen generation and grid upgrades, someone has to pay for that. Is that massive bill just baked into our ticket prices?
It is. The initial scale-up is incredibly capital-intensive, which is where consumer behavior is actually driving the whole market right now.
Which brings us to your next vacation. When you log on to book one of these green flights, the premium you might pay isn't just a feel-good eco-tax.
No, it's way more functional than just promoting ecotourism. By choosing those specific routes, you are actively funding the R&D required to scale these fuels and build the ground infrastructure.
So it basically turns the everyday passenger into an infrastructure investor. You're literally funding the scale-up to a point where producing renewable fuel becomes cheaper than extracting crude oil.
Exactly, which effectively makes legacy fossil fuels economically obsolete. You are no longer just a passive consumer contributing to a systemic carbon problem.
Your ticket purchase is the exact mechanism forcing the market to change.
Yes, it completely flips the dynamic.
That is wild. It really makes hitting the purchase button on a flight feel, profoundly different.
It really does.
Well, thank you for jumping in to explore this massive shift in how we travel.
Always a pleasure.
And to you listening, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. If the renewable waste we produce is becoming the very fuel that allows us to explore the world, how might that completely redefine our relationship with the everyday trash we just throw away?